Boom shakalaka, what is going on, guys? I have one of the most bullish videos for Bitcoin that I have ever made. Today, Bitcoin touched $24,000. We are going to take a look at what all this institutional involvement in Bitcoin is going to do for the Bitcoin price, and I'm going to give you a price prediction for the near and the long term. So, stay tuned. What's up, everyone? Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video, we're talking about some bullish stuff for Bitcoin. I did some calculations here that are absolutely freaking mental. Before we get into them, guys, click the like button, the subscribe button, also the notification bell. It makes you super cool. That's why you should do it, clearly. Now, today, Bitcoin touched $24,000. This is no surprise after we see a lot of investment from these big institutional firms. Rougher Investment executing $745 million deal. One River Asset doing a $600 million deal. Earlier in the month, MicroStrategy, $425 million deal. And all of these people are buying it on Coinbase. Now, they're not buying it on Coinbase like we buy it. They are using Coinbase Custody, a special service for institutions that does over-the-counter Bitcoin transactions. Now, in case you don't know what that is, we have some proof here based on the Coinbase Pro outflow, where Coinbase is actually taking Bitcoin that has been traded by traders, and they're taking it off of Coinbase Pro, and they're actually selling it to these big institutions over the counter. And because they're doing that, it does not affect price. OTC trading, the transaction is performed directly and does not show up in order books, which is why it does not affect the price. And the proof is in the pudding right here from CryptoQuant. If we take a look at this, the red is the outflow total. We had a big outflow total right here back in September before the price shot up. And then we had another one here December 12th, right before the price shot up. This is Coinbase taking Bitcoin away from traders. Okay, traders are losing Bitcoin. Okay, because it's not going to be available anymore. They're taking Bitcoin away from traders and they're selling it to institutions who are hodlers. Now, what does this actually mean? Well, if we take a look, we have just three companies here. Rougher Investment, we have One River Asset, and we have MicroStrategy. Three companies on average, okay, 745 million, 600 million, and 425 million on average. Each company is investing $590 million in Bitcoin. All right. Now, when they're doing that, that means they can afford 29,500 Bitcoin. Now, on exchanges right now, there's 1.6 million Bitcoin. That means that if these companies wanted to buy Bitcoin on exchanges, there would only be 54 left. Not the S&P 500, not the top 500 companies. That's a tenth of that. There's 50 companies left that could do this, and then boom, Bitcoin's gone. But let's just say they could invest all the Bitcoin, 18.5 million Bitcoin mined at the moment. Let's say they could buy that. That's 627 companies. That's it. Okay, that's not very many companies. There's a lot more companies in the world. That's barely more than the S&P 500, the top 500 performing companies out there. And I think they would all want to get their hands in Bitcoin. Companies are now talking about their Bitcoin strategy. I mean, before this, they had their internet strategy. They had their streaming strategy. They had their video strategy. And each iteration, they want to get involved. So now companies are talking about their Bitcoin strategy. Now, if we take a look a little bit further, and this is what's absolutely monumental. All right. So if we take a look at the Bitcoin market cap, $442 billion, you divide that by the price of Bitcoin, or you divide it by the number of Bitcoin mined, and clearly we have 18.5 million Bitcoin. But this is not reality. Most Bitcoin, 93% of it is not on exchanges. Only 7% is on exchanges. Most of it is in wallets. A lot of it is in wallets that's never been touched. Okay. The reality is there's $1.6 million of Bitcoin, 1.6 million Bitcoin on exchanges. So the true market cap based on today's price, $24,000, is $38.4 billion. Now, if we take that equation, because you have to remember it's only Bitcoin on exchanges that are responsible for affecting the price. If we take that, we say, hey, the true market cap today is $38.4 billion for $24,000 Bitcoin. Well, let's solve for X and figure out what market cap we would need to have a $100,000 Bitcoin. Turns out that would be a $160 billion market cap. Well, guess what? Based on this by Willy Woo, he shows that basically for every dollar invested in Bitcoin, it actually increases the market cap by $3.50. Based on that, we would only need $45 billion injected into the market cap for Bitcoin to reach $100,000. And based on how much each company is investing right now, that's like 90 companies worth. That is not very much for a $100,000 Bitcoin. So based on that, let's take a look at the very real reality of what's going to happen with Bitcoin price. So we can take a look at here, the Brave New Coin Liquid Index for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin pretty much repeats itself. We have a halving, Bitcoin breaks through previous all-time highs, head for a new all-time high. Now, historically, after an all-time high, Bitcoin retraces up to 95%, somewhere between 85 and 95% for most of these halvings. But I don't think this is going to happen in the future one because we're going to have a lot more hodlers, a lot less manipulation because we have these big institutions entering the market. So where we are right now, Bitcoin just broke through previous all-time highs this week. We're in brand new territory. There is literally no resistance for Bitcoin at this point. We have institutions entering the market, and we don't even have retail FOMO yet. That just hasn't happened. It's going to happen. I think potentially when Bitcoin hits 40,000 or 60,000, people will think, oh, I missed the boat on Bitcoin, and then they'll start investing, all right? So what I think is going to happen is by the end of 2021, December 2021, we're going to have a $200,000 Bitcoin. Now, why is that? Well, basically, each halving, Bitcoin goes up a whole nother order of magnitude. Last time it was in the 10,000s. This time it's going to be in the 100,000s. And Willy Woo, based on his modeling, thinks a $300,000 Bitcoin is very reasonable. Now, we'll get there. But then Bitcoin isn't going to come down as far as people think. Some people think Bitcoin is going to come back down to 20,000 to 40,000. I don't think so. I would hesitate to say that Bitcoin may never, once it crosses $100,000, I don't think it's ever going to come down below $100,000 territory. You've got to think all these companies out there are going to be buying up Bitcoin. They're not going to be selling it. This is part of their business strategy to advance their company. They're not weak hands. And then from there, once we pass the next halving in 2024, Bitcoin is going to be on its way to $1 million. McAfee was right. He doesn't have to eat his own dick because Bitcoin is headed to $1 million by the end of 25, somewhere around there. So that's it from our video today. Super bullish video for Bitcoin. Guys, the amount of Bitcoin available is shrinking every day. The amount of money coming into Bitcoin every day is increasing significantly. The price only has to respond. The only reason it hasn't shot up any further yet is because all of these transactions are taking place over the counter. It does not affect the price. This bump in price is basically just because there's so much less Bitcoin available on exchanges, and when a little bit of retail FOMO hit when they found out the news about these institutions buying, they bought some and boom, price jumps up. But we haven't even seen what's going to happen based on all the Bitcoin being bought by institutions. So guys, that's it for today's video. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to click the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell, and I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Peace.